Why, hello there, Chrome Conflict Cadets, and welcome to a very brief introductory guide on how to play Chrome Conflict. So first of all, you'll need to enter the configuration panel from the menu. For purposes of this tutorial, we've selected the precursor here, and I'm going to go into the test field. So in order to move the Sentinel, you use W, A, S, and D. A is left, D is right, S is stop, and W will let you either jump or thrust. This bot is exclusively a jumper Sentinel, so we cannot thrust. However, I will show that later on in the tutorial. We're going to build a flyer later. But anyway, right now, in order to jump, what you need to do is hold down the W button and then move your mouse toward the direction that you want to jump. You see these light blue dots. These will tell you how your Sentinel will end up jumping once you commit to the jump. So in order to commit to the jump, you let go of the W button and your Sentinel will start the jumping animation. You can also jump as you're moving, so if I'm moving forward I can jump backward, and I can even jump in place, just go up and go down to get like a better advantage, and I can click the left mouse button in order to shoot my weapons. Now if I happen to have multiple weapons, I can use the scroll on the mouse in order to select between or among them, depending on how many I have. So I have heavy rockets here, which I selected by using the scroll button, or the scroller on the mouse, and I can aim them and shoot them as my Sentinel will let me. So let me spawn a few enemies we can use. Alright, so I'm going to attack this guy over here, simply by getting towards him, getting in range, and clicking and or holding, depending on the weapon, my left mouse button. With these weapons in particular, I can just hold the weapon and it'll continue firing, but that will probably not be optimal for most of the weapons you're going to use. So I'll attack that guy. Ooh, kinda missed, but I still got him a little bit. So now I'm going to build a flying long-range / mid-range capable Sentinel as opposed to this jumping short-range Sentinel. So what you do once you enter into configuration, if you want to build a bot, is first select the chassis. Different chassis have different strengths and weaknesses, but the orbital chassis is one you can never go wrong if you want to build a flying Sentinel. So I'll choose the chassis, and then I'll go to the component category, which is below the chassis category right over here. So if I'm going to choose a head, which heads have special abilities, all of them do, which you can read if you're interested in them. But we're going to choose a sinister head for our purposes here. Scroll down further to get to the arms, which you can see when you mouse over them. On the right pane, you will see the arm boxes highlighted. So we are going to use the armored arm. Actually, we're going to put two armored arms for the left and the right arm. So all you do is you left click on the component, and then you drag it over to the box you want to place it in, and then left click, and it'll continue holding it. So if I wanted to do both of the armored arms, I can do left click, left arm, left click, right arm. And if I wanted to deselect the armored arm, I just right click on the screen somewhere, and if I wanted to remove a particular component, I will right click on the component. So now I'll put the arm back. I'll scroll down further to the wing slot, and I will put on 2 atmospheric wings because they will significantly improve my ability to fly. So as far as weapons go, let's keep it really simple here and scroll down to the heavy weapons. The different images here for the weapons represent different classes of weapon. So we're going to scroll down to the heavy weapons and equip a rifled sniper cannon. Then we'll go to the modules, which are special modifications you can make to your Sentinel to grant it certain properties. So the head comes with these 4 modules by default. And so we get 4 additional slots here, which the number of additional module slots you get depends on the chassis, or the Sentinel, whatever you want to refer to it as. But the orbital has 4 additional slots. So for these slots, we are going to scroll down and find the scanner, which is vitally important for aiming. Just trust me, just bring a scanner until you understand what it does, and even when you do understand what it does, you'll understand why you'll always want to bring it almost all the time. And then we'll scroll up to the armor category, which is right here, and then put on kinetic plating, and blast plating. And then finally we will put on thrust stabilizers right here. And if you're using a flying bot, you will 100% of the time want to use thrust stabilizers. Just trust me, always and forever. Because if you don't, when you get shot in the air, you won't be able to fly again until after a few seconds. And then we go to the equipment category, which is sort of like modules, but the nuanced difference between the modules and the equipment is kind of complicated to explain, so I won't really bother. You'll just get a feel for it the more you play the game. But now that we're in the equipment tab, we'll scroll down until we get to fuel injector and left click that, and we're good to go. Now, since I have a bot here, I'm going to show you how to start a multiplayer game. So once you're at the main menu, you click multiplayer, and you'll either join a game once it's hosted, or you'll create your own game. So click unrated game. When you have all the people ready to play, the easiest thing you can do is click this little random checkbox up here, or this little random box. This way the map will be selected randomly, so you don't need to know all the maps. If you wanted, you have all of these planets you can choose from, and all of these maps you can choose from, but easiest to just choose the random button here and let the game do the work for you. And then you may want to enable something like shields or power-ups if you're going to do a free-for-all game mode. So I'll start the game because I can, even if I'm one person, the game does let me start the game. And so it'll show everybody's sentinels here. You can hover your mouse over them to see what stuff they have, and then you will spawn in. And now with this sentinel, you know I can move left and right with W, A, S, and D, and I can fly by holding down W and letting go. And so with flying, I can move my mouse in any direction, 360 degrees, hold down W and let go of W in order to execute the flight. And so if I enter the shield here, I start getting points. You get points for damaging other sentinels and especially destroying them. But having a shield here usually means if you stay in the shield, you will get points. So this is like a point of high importance. And then you can get these power-ups here, and it'll tell you what the power-up does. Nanite Repair Kit repairs your sentinel at whatever rate that is. Then, yes, normally there'd be enemies here for me to attack and whatnot. But this is how you start a multiplayer game. And your goal here will be to get the most, or to get the greatest number of points by the end of the match. And so I'll click the ESC button and get out of here. And the one last thing, well, two things actually I'll show before ending the video, which are number one, if you wanted to save a bot, what you can do is click right here, this little person icon, and click the plus button. And then you get to name this build, so I'm going to name this Cadet Build. And then it'll be saved under your Custom Builds tab here, however many you have, in alphabetical order. I have a few of them saved, so mine would be right here. And then I can click that in order to preload it so I don't have to build it again, but I can use it again in case I want to switch the bot I'm using to something else. One last thing I did want to show that's kind of important is that Capture the Flag is by far the most popular mode for this game to be played on. And so the general idea behind that is that each team will have a ship. And in order to capture the flag, what you do is you fly into the enemy ship's shield on the other side of the map. You will get the flag automatically and then bring it back to the inside of your ship's shield. Well, that is the tutorial. Thank you so much for watching. I hope to see you guys playing the game.